I just wanted to clarify again, like for pre-tutorial 2, or rather
Yeah.
just in general the concepts of necessary and sufficient. Before we even talk about the idea of sufficient, usually you must classify or you must explain why is it considered necessary first, right?
Correct. So like say chicken, the chicken rice example. Chicken is necessary for Hainanese chicken rice, right? Rice is necessary for Hainanese chicken rice. But then you ask, okay, wait, take a step back. You just talk about chicken. Is chicken necessary? Yes. Is it sufficient? No, because KFC also has chicken, but it's not Hainanese chicken rice, right? Then we say, okay, so not enough, right? So we add one more condition. Chicken and rice, both are necessary, right? But then it doesn't distinguish Hainanese chicken rice from other chicken and rice dishes. Like you can go Western food store and order chicken chop rice, chicken chop fried rice. That is not Hainanese chicken rice. You also have biryani chicken rice, also not Hainanese chicken rice, right? So what does this tell you? It tells you that the conditions are necessary but not sufficient enough. So we need to add more. So then we say, okay, uh, what else do we need? It requires ginger. Okay, so we add ginger into the equation. So
Mm.
chicken, rice, and ginger.
Okay,
Have
but
we reached the
uh,
state the
for,
state of sufficiency? Yeah.
for the examples that have been provided, for example, Hainanese chicken rice, these are all specific examples. But
Yeah.
more often than not, when we do classifications, they are understanding more general terms. So for example, if I were to say, now instead of Hainanese chicken rice, I'm talking about just chicken rice in general.
Okay,
So
chicken rice in
chicken
general.
cutlet can be one of it. It can be
Mm.
sufficient to be called chicken rice. Hainanese chicken rice can also be sufficient to call chicken rice, but not.
Yes.
But either one of them may not necessarily be part of it in that sense.
What do
Okay,
you mean?
I mean,
So
like if I say that Hainanese chicken is necessary to be called chicken rice, like just in general chicken rice, then how about chicken cutlet?
chicken cutlet, does it have rice? So then you can imagine you have a tree diagram. So does the chicken cutlet have rice? Then no, then it's not a chicken rice dish. If has rice, yes, then we can classify as a chicken rice dish.
Um, how do I put it into terms? Maybe just talking about the pre-tutorial might be easier.
Okay,
So,
sure.
so like earlier mentioned, fantasy is usually within magic. Within magic,
Yeah,
where there's
okay.
magic, usually is fantasy. However, there are times where there is no magic and it still can be considered fantasy.
That's true.
So
Okay.
we cannot say that magic is necessary because there are times
Uh,
where both sides do
so
not have.
then we can say it's contingent and sufficient. Contingent just means not necessary lah. So if you want to simplify, then you just say it's not necessary but sufficient. So you can say magic plus something, then this set is contingent and sufficient, or not necessary and sufficient. And then we have another set which is like not magic plus some other thing plus some other thing. Then this is the other contingent set.
But because there are a lot of criteria, and each criteria will have an outcome where you will either need to list one of the three genres. So
Okay.
in that case, it is a bit confusing for me because when you say that something's necessary means it couldn't appear in other nesting conditions. So
Yeah, so
like,
when you correct. So if you say it's not necessary, okay, like if the outcome appears in two different branches, then we're not saying that it's necessary anymore. We're not saying from this circle to this circle is necessary. Then we're saying this whole chain that is contingent and sufficient.
oh, then
Yeah.
if that's the case, then I don't have anything that's necessary because I will definitely have more than one where fantasy or sci-fi
Okay.
or horror has appeared. Yeah.
Okay, then that's okay, because some people they define it very, they have very strong definition. So they say wow, must have this, necessarily have laser, so it's sci-fi. Yeah. So their tree diagram might go something like that. Laser, yes. Sci-fi, no. Then they branch elsewhere already.
But in their
Yeah.
branching elsewhere, somewhere also have sci-fi. Then if that's the case, you cannot say that
Okay,
laser
yeah.
is
If they're branching somewhere else
necessary.
have, then it's not necessary anymore. But some
Oh,
people actually draw the tree diagram where it is necessary, because sci-fi only appear one time.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's really up to you. And this one I just leave it up to you how you want to define lah. So yeah, just I guess the fun is try to see if you can get high accuracy lor. Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I want to say is it doesn't having more conditions or having less conditions doesn't mean it's better. Yeah, having more, having less doesn't mean it's better. Yeah, because yeah, it's as a general rule lah. Because I afraid some students think that they want to score more marks, then they must do until super complicated. Not true, not true. Yeah. Anyway, if you want, I can let me just go a bit out of the syllabus. AI, one kind of AI actually does this. Where they draw the tree, where the machine draws the tree diagram automatically for you. And what's interesting about it is that it will draw the tree diagram, but the tree diagram is super specific to the data set that you feed it. Then the task of the human operator is to go in and what they call pruning. So you need to cut branches away so that it becomes general enough for other data sets. That means if let's say we run this on AI, AI will draw a super complicated tree diagram, but then it will only work for this particular data set of this set of movies. So imagine if I give you a different set of movies, then the AI generated tree diagram will fail. So the task of the human being is to come in and decide which branches to cut away.
But of course, there's always the risk of when you cut it away because it's more general, therefore some data sets won't fit inside.
Correct. Then you get inaccuracies lah. There's a very fun AI challenge. It's quite a popular one. So what they do is they will give you half of the Titanic data set. The Titanic data set tell you male, female, the age, whether they're first class, second class, third class passenger on the ship, and then they tell you whether they survive or they died in the Titanic. Then you train your AI. Basically, the task is how do you prune your tree diagram after the AI generated it, so that your AI can accurately predict who the remainder of the list, who survived, who died. Yeah, so that's one of the challenges that they have for this kind of data analytics competitions lah. Yeah, some of them got cash prizes also. Yeah. So yeah lah. I mean, in a certain way, you are doing the tree diagram manually lor. But it's good exercise. It's good exercise because now you start to think in terms of tree diagram. Like when you want to make decisions, you start to think about all these things also. Like now you start to realize, actually maybe this circle is not necessary. It's useful for decision making lah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.